Good morning and welcome to Emily's Daily Interviews. I am Emily Morello, and with me today is a very special guest, a lecturer in the Forensic Science Department at the University of New Haven, Peter Valentin. I was able to get the chance to interview him via email a couple days ago, but he unfortunately couldn't make it here today because he is in fact in DC working with other bloodstain pattern analysts on new standards and protocols. Cool, right? As I was aware, he has spent a couple years doing detective work before he began lecturing at the university. I asked how exactly he started out in the detective industry. He reassured me that his initial plan was to go straight for his PhD and teach, but realized that he wanted to work with crime scenes, which meant that he most likely had to become a police officer first. He wound up becoming a CT state trooper after meeting Tim Pombach and hearing about what the Major Crime Squad did. I then asked him if there was something he'd wish he'd known, or a skill he wished he might have started out, or if there was anything he wished he could have done differently. He said that they spent a lot of time looking at cases and using forensic science to solve them, and that gave him the impression that every case had some forensics that would cut through the confusion and solve it. When he started investigating cases, he thought he could always find some evidence to solve the case, but that was not always true. It was humbling to know, and I quote, that all my forensics knowledge could not often be used. I further asked him about the percentage breakdown of how he spent his days. He responded by saying that much of his time was devoted to teaching. He still handles cases as a reconstructionist, so he spends many of his evenings and most weekends examining cases. It is much better than a regular hobby, he added. Now I'm sure all of you want to hear about this professor's favorite case, so here it goes. He has had many cases in the past where people did things that just didn't make sense. They saved evidence that they shouldn't have, or otherwise did things that just didn't make any sense. He thought he would be looking for smart criminals that knew what they, as reconstructionists, looked for, but that wasn't true. One of his most amusing stories was when a suspect in a murder came back to a crime scene, and him and the suspect were actually staring at each other through a darkened window, not realizing for several moments what he had thought was a reflection wasn't. "Wait, that's not me, that's my suspect," he said. And to end off this very informative interview, I had asked him from a student's perspective what he wanted to do as a student coming out of college and if it was any different from what he actually does now. He responded by saying that now he does exactly what he wanted to do, but spent 15 years prior developing this experience and skills to be able to reconstruct cases. He had a great time getting to where he is now. So, you guys heard it here. Love what you do and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Hope you enjoyed this talk and enjoy the rest of the week.